All right, guys, welcome. My name is Freddie Jackson, founder of the Love No Ego Foundation. I am a speaker, I'm a mentor, I am a director, I'm a lot of things. And I'm grateful to be here with you. So thank you. Let's get to this mental health and ultimate wellness. The name of my presentation is Love No Ego, the courage to be you. Let's define it. Love everything that you're designed to do and be here on this earth. We're talking about moving in love and moving in purpose here. Everything that you are designed to do and be here on this earth. What's the ego? The ego is the one thing that can keep you away from everything that you're designed to do and be here on this earth. Let's define the ego as overly self centeredness and fear. It's not thinking of yourself or thinking less of yourself. It's not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself less, like quality versus quantity. I know you guys heard that quote before, right? Just because you think of yourself less times, less, doesn't mean you think less quality, less of yourself. All right. So I'm going to give you some steps so we can keep this ego out of the way, so we can naturally focus on being our best selves. And that's where the miracles are. That's where we're happy. That's where we're productive, right? That's where we make the connections. That's where we gather the resources and show up as our best selves. Confidence, right? Now, courage. Courage to be you. We got love, no ego. Now, the courage part. Courage is often misunderstood, and traditionally we think it comes from an egoic space. Courage comes from love. Courage is humility. Courage is that natural essence and being of you, not afraid to be that you, and not allowing the circumstances in society and all the messages and all the influence that never stops. You know this, right? Not a, not allowing that to take you off that space. And now you're operating from a space of overly self-centeredness and or fear, right? So love no ego, the courage to be you. Step number one. Now we have the definition. Step number one is understanding what's real. We have to grab a firm understanding of what's real, what's reality. Life is simple. Don't make it complex. Life is simple. We make it so difficult. Think about it. You've been given the gift. Life, beautiful. We're here. We're in the now. We're here now. That's the gift. You're breathing. But things happen. We classify what we do as reality versus what and who we are. Soft skills versus hard skills. We're going to get into it. But what's a simple way that you can understand and grab a foundation for success? I like to call it of what's real and what's illusions. Think about it, guys. Life is simple. Don't make it complex. I watch the sunrise every single day. That puts it in perspective for me, right? That's reality. Because without it, we'll be dead. We could not exist. So before I do anything hard skills, I'm working on things, soft skills, that's going to give me a perspective of life. Going to also give me empathy. It's going to give me confidence. It's going to give me humility, right? So understanding what's real. Let's go like natural versus unnatural, truth versus illusions, reality versus the things that we created, right? Love, same energy, same frequency of what's real versus ego, fear. You follow me here? All right. So once you have that foundation for success, right? Now, let's pile on some pillars that's going to help you facilitate action and give you a daily routine to help you show up as your best self. Now you're going to be moving in purpose and you're going to attract what's for you. What's yours will come to you when you are ready. What's yours will come to you when you are ready. So when you're ready and you've been doing these things in and on purpose, the opportunity shows up. Voila, there's the miracle, right? So 4 pillars: spirituality. I told you I watch the sunrise every day. That touches my spirit. Incorporate things into your life that's going to bring you absolute joy, not something that's just going to make you happy for a moment, for a day, for a month. I'm talking about absolute joy that's going to ignite this human intuition of yours in this space that was given to you. Whew. Spirituality. Exercise. We're made to move. You have to move. I'm a personal trainer. I've been a health and wellness coach for 15 years. I could give you another whole presentation on the benefits of exercise alone. You know, you already know. Spirituality, exercise. Third, education. It's not a one-time thing. Just because you graduated doesn't mean you're done. Make it fun. Make it fun. Learn about things that you want to learn about. The courage to be you. You. Be you and move in and on purpose. Educate yourself on the things that sparks your intuition, right? Last one, community. Very important. Naturally network. Unity and community, even in the word, right? Everything that we are trying to achieve is out there. It exists. You just have to move in and on purpose. What's yours will come to you when you're ready. Love, no ego, the courage to be you. This is all about moving in purpose. And when you move in purpose, you're happy. You enjoy the day to day. You love, you're optimistic. Your heart is open. You know how to use this big old brain, this big beautiful tool that was given you, right? Stay in and on purpose. So love, no ego. Look at ways to remove things that are not serving you and focus on the things that do serve you. Ultimate wellness and mental health, guys. Love, no ego, the courage to be you. All right, let's give away some things. I have 2 books. The User's Manual. It's a manual to you, the human being. 20 principles that I share that has brought me miracles, miraculous, like success. 20 principles. We know how to work a lot of things. There's a manual to a lot of things. We know how to work this. Ooh, look at us. We're talking and interacting through devices and we have phones and gadgets. But what about this? Is there a manual to us? That's what that's about, the user's manual. I also have Love, No Ego. Where are you living from? It highlights those spaces we make decisions from. Is it a love space or is it a fear space? Which space do I occupy the most? You know, love is everything you're designed to do and be. Don't let the ego steal your joy. Do not let the ego steal your joy, your mental fitness and wellness, right? So I'm going to give away 2 copies of each. The first 2 people that subscribe to MrLoveNoEgo.org, MrLoveNoEgo.org, and also follow me on Instagram. Send me a comment regarding referencing this wellness summit. I'll respond and I'll send you a copy, an autographed copy of each book. So subscribe to MrLoveNoEgo.org. Follow me on at Mr. Love No Ego on Instagram. Give me a comment, reference the Wellness Summit, and I'll send you an autographed copy. Guys, we only got one of these. Life, as far as we know, we only have one. Maximize the human experience. Be well. I love you. Peace.
My name is Dr. Shauna Moore Reynolds. I am a mother, a wife, a psychotherapist, a business owner, an educator, a coach, a keynote speaker. All the things that you are, I am also. But one thing I've noticed over the years working with many women of color that are in the education realm, government, or even in business, that sometimes we feel like we take on a lot more than we're able to handle. So if you see, I'm in my therapy room, and in this therapy room, I talk to women like you every day of the week about how to get more balance and substance out of our lives and not to feel as overwhelmed as some of us are at this time. So we're going to talk about the Superwoman syndrome. How do you know if you are falling under that category and what you can do to change it? So you may ask, what is a superwoman? You know, that's, you hear about it all the time. There's a song about it. You know, there's a song from back in the day, Karen White, about this song about superwomen. A superwoman is someone who feels that they must do it all on their own. They try to balance career, family activities, home care, personal social activities. And there's a belief that this woman can balance all these categories. If they can balance all these categories, it will lead to a lifetime of happiness. So if I could do all these things that the world tells me that I'm supposed to balance, if I do those things, I will be in a better place. I will have happiness in my life. And the term was coined in 1984, and it occurs when a woman neglects herself in order to seek to do it all to perfection and stretching herself too thin. So we hear about us stretching ourselves too thin. We hear about self-care all the time right now, and we know the things that we need to do, but a lot of times we don't put aside those times and the energy needed in order to get those things done, especially the self-care portion. And Superwoman syndrome is a term to describe women who set unnaturally high standards for themselves, goals that are more often beyond reach and completely unreasonable. As a result, these women undergo a range of psychological, physical, and interpersonal symptoms of stress as they continue to attempt to be perfect in multiple and conflicting roles in her life. So not only are they trying to be perfect at home with family, children, household, and all those things that happen outside the business world, we're also trying to keep that same mask of perfectionism in the business world. So you never have time off from that perfectionism. We always feel like we're on the go. We always feel we have to get things done. There's never a time when we have the downtime to just recoup ourselves, because we always feel that we have something to prove, we have something to do at all times. So let's look at the statistics when it comes to superwomen of color. 60% of women within the childbearing range say they feel worn out on a daily basis. 75% of African-American families and 59% of Hispanic families are headed by single mothers, which may contribute to the need for Black women to develop strong, independent, and self-efficacious roles and attitudes. And it's believed that disproportionately high rates of adverse health conditions, such as cardiovascular disease, obesity, lupus, adverse birth outcomes, migraines, hair loss, panic attacks, weight gain, untreated or mistreated psychological conditions, and like depression are among African-American women might be related to how we experience stress and how we deal with those and how we process it. So all those things that we're going through leads to other factors out there. So when we talk about the corporate world, in many cases, despite corporate women leaders, we have many out there now who are high achievers in their career context and have rallied against the odds. They're not immune to persistent experiences and consequences of racial microaggressions, such as assumptions of intellectual inferiority. I'll constantly be asking about their experiences or their education or their past experiences, questioning their credibility and authority. In such cases, they have to work harder to prove themselves as equals. Others leave because of the extra workload that they have to entail to prove themselves to others. One thing we've noticed lately is African-American women represent the fastest growing population of small business owners in the US, citing 21%. They said they are displeased with the work environment, the corporate environment, and decided to open their own businesses. It was a motivator for them to go on and take on their own, where they set their own hours, their own responsibilities, and meet their own needs and goals. And also, 50% of multicultural women are considering leaving their corporate companies within the next 2 years. So this trend is building where we don't find a placement, we don't find comfort in the corporate world. So we're starting our own. and we're starting our own business, and we're succeeding at it too. So it's not just a jump out there, leap out there on faith kind of thing. It's actually shows that there's documentation that shows that we're actually doing well, successful out there in the field in our own businesses. You may ask, what contributes to Superwoman syndrome? Many women have expressed obligation to manifest strength. They think by working harder, it's going to manifest their strengths, make them stronger. Obligation to suppress their emotions. We're told we're not supposed to share those emotions or share those feelings that we're having. So we push through. Resistance to being vulnerable. We don't want anyone to see that vulnerable side of ourselves. So we keep going. We make sure it gets done. Determination to be successful despite the disadvantages. Sometimes we're in situations where we're set up to fail, and many organizations in corporate world where they don't provide us with the materials needed to succeed. So we're giving so much or throwing our energy and time into something that will not work because of this lack of support that is there. And a lot of times we do have an obligation to help others. We really want to succeed in ourselves, but also to help others succeed with us. And also, there's a historical legacy of racial and gender stereotyping or oppression that plays a part in our success. You know, we want to be that person that goes further. We want to be that person that succeeds. We want to be the example to others. We have lessons from our foremothers to be self-sufficient. Think about your aunts, your mother, your grandmothers, all those strong women that are around you, and you saw them succeed, or you saw them, the outcomes of their hard work and what they were able to do, and you feel that pressure and that stress to do the same. Often it's pressure that we put on ourselves. So we have that lesson there, and we try to follow those same examples. And past personal history or disappointment, of mistreatment, of lack of support and abuse. So we've been through all those things, all those characteristics of things that happen. And we said, well, it's not going to happen to us again. We're not going to allow it to happen again. Make sure that I push through and get it done unlike it was done before. So we put that unnecessary pressure that we do not want to return to or repeat those past stages. So we do everything we can to not have to do that. Spiritual values helped us build strength to continue. So we turn to prayer, we turn to meditation, we turn to other things for that motivation to keep going, to keep pushing through, even though we're tired, we're worn out, we're stressed, and we have other medical ailments. But the liabilities of those things, all those things I mentioned, is that there's a strain on interpersonal relationships with our spouses, relationships with our children, our family members, our friends. Due to self-sufficiency, you know, we're not able to take care of ourselves, so we don't have that energy to give to other things or other people. And then the stress-related issues that come with it too. We see those issues come up as we're taking on more and more. But if you ask whether or not you are a superwoman, you're still not convinced based on what I said before. According to an expert, Dr. Valerie Young, there are 5 common types of superwoman syndrome. The perfectionists, they always feel like their work could be better and fixate on any flaws or mistakes. This often leads to a great deal of self-pressure and high amounts of anxiety. The superhero, the pushing themselves to work as hard as possible because they feel that they're inadequate. The expert, even though they are highly skilled, highly qualified, they underrate their own expertise. The natural genius, they set extreme goals and are crushed when they don't succeed on the first try. The soloist, the person needs to seek help and they feel like the help is a sign of weakness or incompetence. So self-worth is measured by productivity. So are you one of those characteristics of Superwoman syndrome? So, Superwoman, are you ready to take off your mask? If you're looking to find balance, I would love to help you. Join my free support group for professionals who are superwomen of color looking for support, growth, and change. You can connect with mental health professionals and like-minded individuals by visiting my website, www.drshaunaspeaks.com/superwoman. In addition to my website, you can follow me on all social media platforms at Dr. Shauna Speaks. I look forward to working with you. Bye-bye.
volunteer versus voluntold? Which one would best help you reach your goal? My name is Janice Albritton. I go by Jenlo of Jenlo Assassin. I'm the founder of Second Chance 21013, of which 21013 is the date that God gave me the opportunity to change my life and the lives of others that I come across and meet every day. So I'm so happy and so grateful for this opportunity to be part of this health and wellness seminar, because I am an author, I am a speaker, and I'm also a health and wellness coach going on 6 years, you guys. Been able to lose over 100 pounds. Yes. Let's just cheer for that. Okay. Yes. So I want to talk about volunteer versus voluntold. Yes. So volunteer, what does that mean? It means the willingness to be the change you want to see in your lives. You take the initiative, you take action, massive action to change, to transform, to transition, okay, into the person that you want to become, okay? Voluntold is when something or someone else volunteers you or tells you what to do, okay? And we're going to break that thing down, right? So volunteer versus voluntold. Let's talk about the mirror and self-talk. Do you tell yourself the truth? Or do you tell yourself the dreams and the mirage of who you see in the mirror? Let's talk about it. I was almost 300 pounds. I was a good 273. But nothing could tell me that I was almost 300 pounds until I literally had a fight with the scale. And the people that made the scale, because I called, I was like, your scale is wrong. I'm not 273 pounds. But I had a digital scale and a manual scale, both telling me the same exact thing. And all the resets in the world for the digital scale, we couldn't reset the manual. I was just simply 273, but I was in denial because in the mirror, I did not see that. I saw the model, because I model. I thought I was good. I was goodly lying to myself. And then it set in, that maybe I'm really 273. Maybe I need a little help. And as I was sitting in my cubicle, I said, God, I'm at this job and, it's weighing down on me literally, because when I started the position, I transferred to another department. I was 230. That was in, February. By the time my birthday came around August, I was 250 something. And by the time October, November came around, I was 273. I was good financially, but mentally, physically, spiritually, I was broken. I was tore up. And I had to finally admit that. Because in the middle of the night, I was having heart palpitations. I could barely breathe. I was stressed out. I was depressed. And I have to call the thing a thing. I thought about suicide. I did. Volunteer versus voluntold. The voluntold was the heart palpitations, the salivation where it felt like I couldn't do anything. When the waddle I had because of the weight that was on my knees and my ankle. I have no cartilage in my ankles and a chain in my hip. My body was simply saying, I'm tired and you're not listening to me. I'm tired. And so I asked for help. I asked God, this can't be it. What else is there? Now he sent me some supplements. Now, things can come. He answered prayers in mysterious ways, right? So I will say mine came in the form of some supplements, okay? Where everybody else drinks sweet tea, McDonald's tea, and all this stuff. I drink a healthy herbal tea, okay, and take some vitamins and things of that nature. And I lost 5 pounds the first week, 5 pounds the second week. I was like, oh, okay, wait. But I wasn't done volunteering in my rescue just yet. Because the next thing was the meat. I've been pescatarian going on 6 years. For myself, I could say personally, it has helped me tremendously. Y'all, I had to come fresh-faced. Because one, the person in the mirror, I need to be okay with how I see me. I could put on a suit. I could put on a face full of makeup. But guess what? There's people out there that look at themselves and they're not happy because they feel like they have to show up their way all the time. I know what that feels like, because once I had my car accident on 2/10/13, I thought everywhere I went I had to cake up my face. And it took a long time for me to be happy with who I see. It took a long time to be happy with me. So I showed up today, not how you would have thought a speaker would show up typically, right, for something like this. But this is me. I'm a health and wellness coach. Mental health, physical health, spiritual health, financial health. It starts with showing up authentically you, right? Okay. So next is, when you're asking for help, it's okay to see a therapist. Shortly after I lost my 10 pounds, right, some things happened with my family that sent me right back down the rabbit hole. And I, for the first time, saw a therapist. It's okay to reach out to a mentor, coach, therapist, church member, your pastor, preacher, somebody that's confident that you feel safe with. If it's not a best friend, reach out. It's perfectly okay. There's no stigma with reaching out, asking for help. And it's all, like I said, first ask God for help, and He asked God to lead you. That's what my dad would say all the time. Ask God to lead you. Okay, so voluntold can be way more expensive than volunteering. Voluntold almost cost me my life, because voluntold could be permanent. So voluntold could be when you got to go to the doctor, and the doctor say, "Oh, now you got to be on dialysis," and all these things. So when the doctor said, I unfortunately lost my dad, and I had been having a conversation with him about meats and going walking and eating healthier. And every time I would have a conversation, he would say, "Well, the doctor said this, so now I have to do this." But you had an opportunity to volunteer this whole time, and it will always be a volunteer. Well, now I have to. So that's what volunteer is. It's now the something was your body saying, "Hey, I have a problem." You're not listening. You're not taking it in. You're not taking it in. Okay. And now I need you to hear me differently. I'm going to, like me, I felt like my body was going to shut down permanently. Okay? But I'm so happy, so grateful that I'm here. Still alive to be able to share with you what I have learned, okay? Which is a lifestyle change. Like I said, I'm pescatarian. I don't eat meat. I eat seafood. Right now I'm on a 30-day fast. A fast could be anything. It could be for your mental, maybe getting off social media where it's changing how you feel about yourself, making you feel like you can't show up in your natural hair, that you got to show up in a straight long hair wig and a face full of makeup, and nobody can see you for who you really are and how beautiful God made you. Right? Yeah. So, it could be your mental, maybe the things around, journal, meditate, sing. I love to sing, and it helps me out all the time. Okay. It could be the people that you're around. Community, you guys. We need community. We need people around us. I love the BSN community. He puts opportunities out there, and it's up to us to volunteer. There's no volunteer with that one. It's either volunteer or you just out. Okay. So we need people around us that can see us, that say, "Hey, friend, I see, if I had somebody to say, 'Hey, I see you picked up some weight real quick, like, is everything okay? Or I see you wobbling, or you're stressed, and, you all right? Like, you down? Like, you okay?'" I did not have those things, because guess what? The people around me were also going through their own, and they were picking up weight just as fast as me. When I look back, I'm like, dang, you know what? They were this way when I first met them right there, and they right there. But if we're all going through rowing the same boat, because we're all eating the food and doing all those things, then none of it, we all are looking at the mirage. So it's good to have some people outside of your environment where, if it's not a productive environment, get into one. But get somebody that, until you can get into one, that can see like, "Oh, hey, friend, I see this is going on, such and such, and let's just try to, because that's part of your elevation process, right? When you talk to someone, when you get them into a coach, chime into a community, other people, you connect, you network, that's part of your elevation. Once you get it here, it transfers here. Once you get it here, it transfers here. The two are intertwined, and it transfers spiritually, and it does transfer financially, right? Because a healthy mind, a healthy body, a healthy spirit, you're going to have a healthy bank account. Okay? So, again, my name is Jenlo. You can find me on Instagram, Facebook at Jenlo Assassin. That's JenloAssassin. Second Chance 21013. The Second Chance spelled out 21013. Please, by all means, I love helping people. I talk to people. I tell people I'm a relationship builder. I love having conversations. I have a podcast. I do many things. I wear many hats, but I love talking to people because guess what? If I had the person that I've become today, the people that I have been able to connect with in the last couple of years, my process would have been expedited. But everything happens for a reason, and God does nothing by mistake or happenstance. Everything is in its time because what? I live in the truth and not the mirage. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And live in your truth as well.
Founder of the BYBD brand. And as a fitness pro, even before I was a fitness pro, when I was a record label executive, I still was always mindful of being healthy, being my best. And what comes with that is people asking all the time, yo, how can I get healthier? And the thing is, all of us know that we could eat better, right? All of us know that we could move a little more and exercise. So people, when they're asking me those questions, aren't asking me for those answers. They're asking me for that quick shortcut. Right? And if you're watching me here, what I know about you, what I'm presuming about you is that you're smart. And I'll be 52 in a few weeks. And what comes with that is perspective on time. I don't have the time to lie to myself, and I sure enough don't have the time to lie to you. It's inefficient. So while I don't like asking people who don't know me to trust me, I feel like I should just earn that from you. I will ask you to believe me. And what if I asked you to believe that there is one habit that guarantees better health should you master it? One habit. What would you think that habit is? It's obviously not eating better. It's not working out more. It's not portion control. It's not mindful eating. Although this one habit will help you with all of those. When people ask me what they can do to be healthy, I'll say, well, what do you think you can do? And they'll come back to me with, sleep better. Sleeping better is a great idea. Everything you learn from me here or anybody that's talking to you today, anything that you read, study, anything that you eat, anything that you do in terms of exercise, even when you're stressed, all that stuff settles into your system when you go to sleep. So sleeping health is important. Matter of fact, I'll give you full disclosure, me sleeping well was probably the biggest hole in my whole fitness regimen. I was notorious for the longest time for being sleep deprived. Sleep 2 or 3 hours a night. Figure out sleep when I was dead. Not realizing I was getting closer to that than I wanted to. When things shut down for COVID, that actually allowed me to reconfigure some things, and now I sleep a lot better. But the way I was able to manage by the skin of my teeth with that little bit of sleep was with this habit. All right? Trying to think, what other things do people think will help them? Managing stress. Regular checkups with the doctor. Listen, I'm a nerd about going to the doctor. I go to the doctor for 2 physicals a year when people usually only go for 1 because I just like to know, right? And talking to my doctor, who I swear is one of the best doctors ever. I love this man. And anything that I run by clients for nutritional consultation, I always run by my doctor first just to hear how he reacts, what he says, to see if it's sound. And when I ran this one habit that if you master it, guarantees you success with your health, you know what he said to me? He said, Cootie, if my patients did this 1 month out of every season, I wouldn't see 60% of them. His words, not mine. This stuff works. This one habit that if you master it, guarantees your health success, barring 1 or 2 exceptions. One or two exceptional conditions, but we can talk about that later. What is so yeah, people come to me, they say, oh, what if I eat less sugar? Then some people say, well, I don't have a problem with sugar. I mean, I don't like sweets. I don't eat candy. Hey, look, our body processes artificial sugars, artificial sweeteners, sugar substitutes, even the good ones like agave nectar, stevia. Sugarless gum has sugar alcohols in it like xylitol and sorbitol. Starchy carbs like potatoes, chips, crackers, those all metabolize in our body the same way, and our body responds to them the same way. And you know it's at the root of every disease that affects us, that afflicts us? Sugar. Because on a microbial level, the bad bacteria and diseases feed on sugar. So where there's sugar, there's disease. Now, it's not to say that natural sugars can't be metabolized by your body, but we'll get to that in a second. I'm trying to think another habit that people like to throw at me and think that it's the one that's going to fix it. Avoiding caffeine or avoiding stimulants like nicotine. It's a great idea to avoid both of those, for sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. But it's not the one habit that you need to master to guarantee your success with your health. Matter of fact, this habit will help you kick those habits, will help you kick the addiction to sugar, will help you kick your dependence on caffeine. You know, if you think about it, if somebody's a coffee drinker, you know the drill. You get the coffee in the morning and somewhere around 1, 2 o'clock, your system starts to crash and then you gotta get another coffee. This habit will give you that energy that you look for from coffee, but you don't get the crash. And it's totally healthy. This one habit is not any of those habits, obviously. This one habit, and there's the time to write this down. Get your pen, get your pad, get your tablet, get your phone, whatever you're taking notes on right now, now's the time to do it, okay? The one habit that guarantees you better health when you master it is juicing vegetables. I'll say it again. The one habit that guarantees you better health when you master it is juicing vegetables. Write this down, so if you master this, you get it down to a T, I promise you, you will be healthier in a significant way, all right? Whatever your objective is, if it's to lose weight, if it's to be healthier, if it's to look better, to have more energy, perform better in bed, perform better when you're working out, whatever it is, fight back against disease, help your immune system, whatever it is, this habit will help you. Juicing vegetables 2 times a day, 1 time within 90 minutes of waking up, before you've eaten or had anything else to drink, and another time no later than, say, 2 hours before going to bed. 2 times 2 ounces, not 2 ounces, 2 times 10 ounces each serving, all right? Juice vegetables 2 times 10 ounces, 1 time within 90 minutes of waking up, 1 time outside of 2 hours before you go to bed. Now, you heard me say juicing veggies. I know some of y'all out there like, oh yeah, I juice. I got my green juice. It's got the green apple with the spinach and the celery. Soon as you said green apple, you lost me. You cannot juice fruit. Here's why. Eating fruit is fine. Putting fruit in your smoothies is fine. Smoothies are not juices. I'll get to that in 2 seconds. The way juicing works is it's the quickest way to get nutrition into your bloodstream. You drink the juice, it's not impeded by the fiber because the juicer separates fiber from the liquid. A smoothie blends it all together. So no matter how smooth that smoothie is, as long as the fiber is in there, it's no different than eating it. You want to juice your vegetables and drink the nutrition. It gets into your bloodstream 10 to 15 minutes flat, boom, it's already affecting your system and it's staying there. Think of it like a multivitamin. It's not a meal supplement. So I'm not telling you to not eat. I'm not telling you to substitute your meals with these juices. I'm telling you to juice along with eating your food, eating your fruit, having your smoothies. Juice, all right? And what happens is that because it goes straight to your bloodstream so quickly, you don't want to juice fruit, because if you juice fruit, what's going to happen is the sugar from that fruit is going to go along with that nutrition. And you know what happens then? Your body, because we're addicted to sugar, your body's going to see the sugar and ignore the nutrition. You don't want that to happen. That's why a lot of juice fasts tend to crash after a while. That's why a lot of times people go on these juice and smoothie fasts, they plateau because they're still introducing sugar to their system. The body's addicted to sugar and it just starts going left. You want to juice vegetables. Always include a dark leafy green. Start simple. Go cucumber and spinach. I've got more recipes, but don't worry about that. I can give them to you later. Right now, start simple. Cucumber, spinach, 10 ounces a day, 2 times a day. All right? That's the habit. And see, the benefits of juicing are so awesome, and they mean something to us because literally, if you think about it, we can't have a healthy community if we don't have healthy community members, right? And when people see you that healthier you that's going to start emerging about 11, 12 days into this habit and beyond, they're going to want to know what you're doing. They're going to ask you, man, what you been doing? And you can tell them there's this one habit that if you master, guarantees your better health. And I've got clients just as recently as yesterday who were telling me about these circles that they've started where they've got their family juicing. I've got a client he's on his 330 plus day of juicing in a row. He's got his sister, she's on a 260-day juicing streak, and they've got their mother juicing along with other friends. And their mother is managing her blood pressure with the juice recipe that I gave them. So we can talk about that as well. So again, my kid gets mad every time I juice and forget to juice for my kid. Like, yo, where's my juice? If my kid can juice, you can juice. And I've already given you plenty. If you just leave with what I just gave you right now, you've got enough. You've got enough to be healthier than you've ever been. But if you still have questions, if you're still unsure, feel free to DM me on Instagram at KUTIMACK or email me directly at bybd.me.com. I'm here to help you be your best. All right. And if you do hit me, just put juice in the message and I'll know that you saw me here. I'll give you a free 15-minute one-on-one workshop and I'll also send you my 5 favorite juicing recipes. Sound like a deal? I got your back. I'm here to help you be your best daily.
Are you ready to share your message with the world? Introducing PitchDB, the all-in-one platform revolutionizing the way speakers connect with podcasts, conferences, and media outlets. With access to over 3 million platforms, finding your perfect speaking opportunity has never been easier. Our AI integrations create personalized bios and pitches, setting you apart from the crowd. Join the movement of speakers taking the world stage today. Join now at pitchdb.com.
Imagine this, a room full of 100 women, and statistically, only 20% of them are exercising enough to maintain good health. Let me repeat that. 100 women and only 20 of them are exercising enough just to maintain good health. That's not even to improve their health, that's just to maintain, right? So as a fitness professional, that isn't just a number for me. That is a call to action. I am Tynika Pack. I am the founder and CEO of Impact Fitness, where we focus on working with female entrepreneurs and businesswomen to create transformations to help them find balance, strength, and confidence through their fitness journey. We also partner with companies and organizations to transform their culture to create an environment for their leaders and their teams to thrive. So over my years in the fitness industry, I have had a front row seat to witness the transformative power fitness truly has. And it's not just physical, in all aspects of life. So let me give you a story. I had just moved into my apartment and I wanted to get a plant. Now, in my previous years, I've never been a plant mom, none of those things, but I had this beautiful bay window in my kitchen and I thought that was the perfect spot to have a plant. So I got a plant. I was so excited. I took care of it. I watered it. I fed it. It was in the window, so it got plenty of light, all of the things. But I realized as time went on, it stopped growing. And then the leaves turned yellow, then they turned brown, and then they fell off. So over time, I was left with this. Basically, a plant that looked like asparagus because nothing was on there. And I have no idea how I got from a plant with leaves to this. So I had to phone a friend. I had to call in my emergency team, which was my grandmother. She has the greenest thumb that I have ever known. So she was the right person to call. I called her and I said, hey, I don't think my plant is going to survive. I need help. So she said, bring it to her. I did. I dropped it off, and that was that. So months later, I go to visit her just to check in, see how she's doing, seeing if she needed anything. And I get up, and before I left, she says to me, Tynika is in the window. And I'm like, Tynika is about to walk out of the door. But I'm like, what are you talking about? She says, Tynika is in the window. I go and look in the window and I see this. I pause for a second because I have no idea how she thinks this is my plant, because there's no way this is my plant, because how do you get an asparagus to look like this? Houseway? So I asked her, are you sure this is mine? How did you do this? And she said, oh, that's easy. I watered it on a consistent basis. I fed it on a consistent basis. I gave it sunlight on a consistent basis. And I talked to it every single day. I took care of it and I nurtured it. And I said, I did all of those things. But then I had to pause and think, was I really doing those things I thought that I was? Over time, life got busy. And I realized there were a few times where I missed watering my plant, or I didn't open the blinds for optimal sunlight, and I didn't move it out of the way of the vents when I turned the heat on for the winter. So was I really taking care of and nurturing the plant like I thought I was in my mind? And then that is when it hit me. That in order for us to experience transformation, we have to do the nurturing. I'm going to say it again for the ones in the back. Okay. To experience transformation, we have to do the nurturing. So just like with my plant, in order for my plant to grow and experience this transformation, it had to be nurtured. The same goes for us. We have to nurture and take care of ourselves in order for us to transform and thrive. Okay? We have to take care of ourselves through our health and our wellness journey. Now, I know what you're going to say. And if it's anything like what most people say, I'm pretty sure you're thinking, geez, I'm too busy. I don't have time. I have this going on. I got that job. I got these kids, got that spouse. Like all of the things I have on my plate, how am I going to fit one more thing on there? I'm too busy. I get it. I've been there. I've done that. So what I want to do today is give you 3 actionable steps that you can start today to start implementing to start your transformation journey. Okay. Are you ready? Do you have your pen and paper ready? All right. So first, we are going to go over a physical tip, and then a mental tip, and then a nutritional tip. So first, physical, move more. That's it. That's the tip. Move more. Especially if we are sitting most of the day, if we have a desk job or we're sitting behind a computer for most of the day. I am pretty sure you are watching this right now from behind your desk or sitting at a computer. I encourage you to get up and move more. So how about at the top of each hour, just get up, do some squats, walk around the house for a couple of minutes, and then come back to work, right? Get up and move. Take a break, go for a walk. When you're going to the store, I know more than likely you are looking for the closest parking space to the door. Let me encourage you to park a little ways away, a few parking spaces towards the back of the parking lot. That way, you have more steps that you can get in throughout the day from walking from your car to the door. Okay? So explore different ways throughout the day that you can move more, okay? Number 2 is going to be your mental. So taking many breaks throughout the day, 5 or 10 minutes. Step away from the computer, step away from the phone, do some breathing exercises, go for a walk, do a quick stretch, something to break up the day from the 10,000 meetings, the 200 calls, and everything else. Okay. Breaks throughout the day will increase your focus, it will increase your productivity, and increase your mood. Who doesn't want to be in a good mood, right? So incorporate those mini breaks throughout the day. Okay. And lastly, nutrition. I'm giving you guys a lot of number ones, but the number one thing that I hear when I ask how someone has changed their nutrition to get to their goals, the number one thing I hear is, oh, I cut my carbs. I don't eat carbs anymore. Let me tell you why that is a mistake. We need carbs. Carbs, your proteins, and your fats. We need them all because they all play a specific role in our body, in our health and wellness journey. So as an example, let's say we're building a house, we're building a building, okay? The proteins are your bricks, the carbs are the cement, and the fats are your construction workers, right? So let's say we did cut off the carbs, right? So now we're left with bricks and workers. How are they going to build something with just bricks? Okay, let's say someone decides to cut off fats. So now we're left with materials, the bricks and the cement, but who's pitting everything together, right? So each thing has their own role of how our temple is made, how this house is built. So yes, we need all three. Do not cut your carbs because you need them. Don't cut them, all right? So your 3 things: physical, move more; mental, many breaks; nutritional, do not cut your carbs. Okay. I hope you took notes and implement one of those things today, 2 of those things today, or 3 of those things today. Okay. To help get you started on your transformational journey. But I do want to gift you something that's going to help beyond this. Okay. So I know we're all busy, but if you can carve out 15 minutes throughout your day, you got it. So I am going to gift you an ebook, My Fit in 15, The Busy Women's Guide to Staying Fit. Yes, this is for busy women, but men, this is for you too. But this is going to be a guide of physical activity, nutrition, and mindfulness activities that you can do throughout the day that takes 15 minutes or less. Okay, so I will leave you with this. Again, transformation only happens when we properly nurture ourselves. So nurture yourselves to bring you from an asparagus to a thriving plant. Thank you.
Close your eyes for a moment and imagine waking up in a world where food is not merely fuel for our bodies, but a gateway to deeper connection with our surroundings, our culture, and ourselves. Let me take you on a journey to explore this extraordinary possibility. In this world, food isn't just about nutrition, it's about joy, connection, and creativity. Every meal is an opportunity to embark on a culinary journey where flavors dance on your taste buds and textures tantalize your senses. Food here is more than just delicious. It actually holds the power to heal both body and soul. Certain ingredients even possess properties capable of curing ailments and restoring vitality. Food is also a means of communication and expression. Chefs and home cooks are revered as artists, weaving stories with their culinary creations. Each dish is a masterpiece, carefully crafted to convey emotions, memories, and cultural heritage. In this world, people gather around the table not just to eat, but to share stories, laughter, and love. Meals are a celebration of life, a time to connect with loved ones and forge new friendships. As we embrace the magic of food, we can discover its transformative power, not only for nourishing our bodies, but also enriching our lives with joy, wonder, and endless possibilities. Welcome to a world where food is fun, healing, and full of stories waiting to be told. Hi, my name's Danielle Sanders. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist and certified health education specialist. My work is rooted in creating spaces for cultural foods to be discovered, shared, and enjoyed, one bite at a time. I'm delighted to be here with you today as we delve into the intriguing world of nutrition. In this session titled Savor It, Redefining the Nutrition Narrative, we will embark on a journey to understand nutrition through the lens of cultural humility and practicality. And by the end of our time together, I hope that you feel empowered to make informed, inclusive, and most of all, enjoyable nutrition choices. So I want to start by emphasizing a fundamental principle, that you are in the driver's seat when it comes to your health behaviors. And every choice that you make regarding nutrition can contribute to your overall health and well-being. So many of us know that the food that we eat, the environments we inhabit, and the injustices that we may experience impact everything from our brain's development to how our immune system functions and how chronic diseases are caused. These exposures that the body is responding to are not always our choice. And a lot of the time, what we have available to eat is limited by many factors, but that does not mean that we can't still pursue health. In my work, I've noticed 3 major problems with nutrition. The first is mixed diet messages. So the increase in technology has led to greater access of nutrition information, but knowing what information is reliable can actually be challenging due to the abundance of conflicting sources on the internet. Various websites and blogs, social media offer dietary advice, some of which may actually lack scientific credibility or be influenced by commercial interests. This proliferation of misinformation can lead to confusion and skepticism among individuals seeking guidance on healthy eating. So here is where I will pause and emphasize the critical role of the credentialed nutrition professional or a registered dietitian. Speaking with a nutrition professional who has been trained to decipher this nutrition science and provide you actionable steps can help guide you through your health journey. So the second problem is that there's a widespread perception that healthy food doesn't taste good. There actually seems to be an inverse relationship between healthy food and the flavor of food. So think of how cheeseburgers are often portrayed as sexy and delicious, while salads are portrayed as fresh and good for you, but tasteless and sad. As a result, I see many people discouraged from adopting healthier dietary habits due to this misconception that nutritious foods are bland and unappealing. Finally, the third and arguably most important problem with nutrition is that historically, dietary guidelines are not inclusive of diverse cultural perspectives and dietary traditions. However, I'm here to tell you that recognizing and respecting the rich tapestry of food cultures can empower you to make informed dietary choices that align with your cultural heritage and personal preferences. Not only can you continue to enjoy your heritage foods, but you can also interact with other cultures and expand your tastes and knowledge. Now, addressing these challenges requires a multifaceted approach one that promotes cultural inclusivity and culinary creativity. So in my work, I teach groups and individuals to see food differently and to apply 5 simple steps to everyday scenarios. Today, I want to share step 2 of 5. So step 1 is actually understanding the guidelines for healthy eating. Again, a shameless plug for promoting the role of the registered dietitian. Now, step 2 is thinking of nutrition on a spectrum. So rather than adhering to the latest food trends and fad diets, I want you to begin to view nutrition on a spectrum and acknowledge the dynamic and nuanced nature of eating patterns. So at any given time, any meal or snack that you may consume can fall somewhere on this spectrum. And you get to decide whether you're okay with where it falls and enjoy it without reserve, or seek ways to add nutrition in order to move it further along the spectrum. So let's take a bowl of traditional spaghetti, for example. Perhaps you think it's a 4 on this scale. Now you get to decide, are you okay with that? Or maybe you want to move it to a higher number. So for example, you might decide to add a side of vegetables to the dish. Or maybe you dice them up very small and mix them into the sauce. Maybe you add ground meat or tofu, or perhaps you switch the pasta to be a whole grain pasta. The point is, the opportunities are endless to add nutrition without compromising the flavor or the integrity of the dish. Again, viewing nutrition on this spectrum promotes balanced eating, which can involve consuming a variety of foods from different food groups with appropriate proportions. It also leaves room for moderation and the influence of cultural traditions, diet customs, and individual preferences. Because we know that different cultures have unique dietary patterns and culinary traditions. And similarly, individuals may have varying needs and preferences and health goals based on a variety of factors such as age, gender, genetics, activity levels, and health status. Embracing cultural diversity and honoring individual autonomy allows for this inclusive and personalized approach to nutrition. I also want to pause and mention that context plays a crucial role in shaping dietary choices and health outcomes. So factors such as socioeconomic status, food access, and food security, environmental sustainability, and food marketing can impact behaviors. So recognizing these broader socio-environmental determinants of nutrition, again, helps address inequities and disparities in food access and health outcomes. Lastly, viewing nutrition on a spectrum, we can appreciate the complexity and diversity of dietary patterns, promoting flexible, inclusive, and balanced approach to healthy eating. So instead of focusing on strict rules or labels, again, you can feel empowered to make choices that align with your unique needs, preferences, and circumstances. Now, as we conclude this session, I want to leave you with this. Remember that you have the power to make choices that align with your goals, value, and lifestyle, and that it's about learning or rediscovering and loving what health means to you and what it feels like for you. So I'd like to invite you to carry forward the insights that you've gained today and commit to approaching nutrition with openness and a deep appreciation for your own and other cultures, with a desire to learn and grow. So if you're curious about learning more about how to approach nutrition with cultural humility and practicality in those 5 easy steps, or you'd like to simply continue the conversation, please feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn or social media. My handles are @DanielleVRDN on all platforms. Thank you so much.
Today, I want to share with you how moms and dads can help their children lose weight and make better food choices so that they can increase their self-esteem and eliminate disease without having to diet ever again. My name is Tamika Quinn, and I'm a 10-time author, speaker, and a legislative health advocate. I also am a 2-time stroke survivor and founder of GLAM, Giving Life and Motivation, a 501c3 committed to the prevention and awareness of stroke, heart disease, and childhood obesity in the Black community. At age 27, I was a mom, a wife, business owner, and pregnant with our youngest daughter. 10 days after giving birth to her, I suffered 2 strokes, 3 days apart. Those strokes left me paralyzed on the entire left side of my body, as well as with cognitive changes, severe memory loss, and even some things that I struggle with today. The doctors told me at that time that I would never walk again, that I would need assistance for the rest of my life. And I tell you, the devil is a liar, because I never believed it. And I do mean never believed it. I trust God. I believed in myself, and I did the work. Physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, you name it, I did the work. And I'm here. I'm here today. I'm here today, a living witness that we can do anything that we put our minds to. My time that I spent going through the rehab and all of the getting back to where I am, you would have thought, most people think, that was your defining moment. That was your point of change. That is what got you into this health journey and, this nutrition kick. But it wasn't. In fact, I survived near death. I beat paralysis, yet I made no changes. Not one. I was seriously overweight. I had high blood pressure, but I did not think in my mind at that time that I needed to make any changes. And I'll tell you some of the reasons why. We were doing pretty well for ourselves. We were homeowners. We had a business. We were happy. And at 27, you kind of feel like you're a rock star. You can do anything. And so I also had a man. And that mindset was that I didn't need to make any changes. Fast forward, my daughter was 8 years old and diagnosed with severely high cholesterol and obesity. Now that was my defining moment. That was when I got a wake-up call that, you may have to make some changes in your life, not just for you, but for your family. That diagnosis really hit home hard because as a mom, I felt like, I do the grocery shopping, I prepare the meals. This was my fault. And so I did everything that I could do to try to fix it, but I just didn't know how. I went to the cardiology appointment, and I remember them trying to put my daughter on medications that the side effects were just so severe, from hair loss to infertility. I mean, you name it. And I said, no, we're not going to do that. What are the alternatives? And the doctor said, he kind of chuckled when he said, alternatives, well, diet and exercise, but nobody has success doing that. And it almost sent this adrenaline rush through my body, that you have an alternative, but you don't want to let us try that. No, we're not going to do the medication. We're going to do the diet and exercise. And so I remember leaving there feeling a little bit defeated because he had gotten a second cardiologist to come in the room because of my pushback and kind of co-sign for him that this was the best alternative. This was the best treatment for her, and telling me that she could have a stroke or a heart attack at any time, even at her age, because of her cholesterol. It was very scary. It was a very hard decision to make, but the medication caused so many problems. I just didn't want to go that route. So I called her primary care doctor back and I said, this is what happened at the cardiologist's office. I really need to learn how to change our lifestyle. And she put us in touch with a program at the Children's Hospital that really changed our lives. It taught us about nutrition. It taught us the things to do. And sometimes That is what it takes, the knowledge. And then it's up to us to apply it, of course, but not knowing what to do can be just as harmful as doing the wrong things. I mean, when you don't know, you just don't know. When we went through that program the first time, we had a little success. We backslid. And the second time that we went through the program is when we really got it. It really clicked. We made the goals. We made the commitments. We stuck to them. You know, my daughter and I were like tag team partners. Even though our entire family was making this lifestyle change, her and I would do walks after dinner. And that'd be our girl talk. That'd be our girl time that we get our talks in. And we both really had tremendous success. I wasn't even interested in losing weight. I really felt like I was fine, even though I wasn't. At that time, I was taking 3 blood pressure medications every day. But by the time we finished the program and got some more months under our belt, my daughter lost 40 pounds and I lost 80 pounds helping her. And so for us, it was true success. It was, we know the blueprint how to do this. We've implemented it in our home. We saw the ripple effect within our family, our immediate family, and then our next generations of family making changes because of what they saw us do and improving their health and extending their lives. It's an amazing feeling. And I'll tell you that if you've ever thought that improving your health really couldn't come from diet and exercise, or that it's impossible to improve your life through diet and exercise, it's not impossible. It is absolutely possible, and we are living proof. And so I know that you are not probably going to try to figure this out on your own, and you don't have to. The good news is that I want to invite all of you to my free 2-hour workshop that is for parents who have obese children. And you can register for that workshop. It is going to be a very fun, friendly family environment to give you the steps, of what we did, how we did it, and how you can do it as well. You can register for this free event at www.healthykidzone.com. That's healthykidzone.com to register for the event. I also want to give you a cookbook to get you started. And this cookbook is very popular. It's a vegan cookbook that has about 80 recipes in it. You can go to dreamgiversacademy.shop to get that cookbook. And that is dreamgiversacademy.shop to get the cookbook, which has some amazing healthy vegan recipes in there for you and your families to start to make on your own. So I look forward to connecting with you through the seminar. You can also connect with me via social media. I'm at author Tamika Quinn on all social media handles. That's author Tamika Quinn. And one thing I want to leave you with is this. You know, you can take back your life no matter what the situation is. I know this for a fact. Don't ever give up and think that it's too much, it's too hard, you can't do it. Make a commitment. Make a commitment today to yourself that you're worth it, that you can do it, and you will do it. It may not take you the same amount of time as someone else, but you're absolutely worth it, and you can do it. These changes that I'm going to be sharing in the workshop, the 2-hour workshop, they're able to be implemented by anyone at any level, any socioeconomic level, any level in life. And so I look forward to connecting with you all. God bless.
Unity and wellness, strengthening mind and body together. My name is Paula R. Jenkins. I am the founder and CEO of LFS Consulting LLC, where we believe true leaders create more leaders. I am here today to talk to you about choosing happiness, even when it's hard. I will tell you, this is one of those topics that I think is so important, and we must have a conversation about it. I'm not going to say that it's necessarily easy, but it can be done. I have multiple things in my story that have made me have to choose happiness because I needed to. Whether it was blood pressure that was really high, or it was traumatic experiences, doesn't mean my situation was great and wonderful, but I had to choose to be happy in some cases. Today, I'm going to give you 4 areas where I want you to truly choose it. Choose happiness even when it's hard. So let me first give you my story. So a lot of times when I speak, I talk about 2 numbers. Those 2 numbers are 180 and 140. Now, when most people hear 180 over 140, what do you think about? You think of blood pressure. Well, that was my blood pressure in October of 2017 because of a very toxic environment at my workplace, a manager that was extremely divisive and not understanding. And so one of the things I had to do is make a decision on my happiness, on what I was going to do. And I chose to leave corporate America 3 months later after that reading. And I haven't looked back. You all, here's the thing. Sometimes we have to choose happiness in spaces where it doesn't necessarily seem like it's the right thing to do. But I want you to do that. So I want you to hear me today. And when I say hear me, let me tell you what I mean by that. The H, our health. Our health is critical. Our health is important. If we don't take care of our health, we will not be here for anybody. Our health is impacted by so many factors: stress, our weight, exercise, smoking, diseases, medicine. We have to make sure that we focus on our health. And I know for a lot of people, and I'm no different, it can be hard to start to focus on your health, and no matter what that looks like, because of life. I always tend to say lately, life is always lifing. But what I want you to do with this H, the health part, is really make sure you start somewhere. I don't care where, but start somewhere. One of the things we have to do when we talk about choosing happiness, even when it's hard, is doing the things that make us uncomfortable. And I know the health part is hard. Whether it's just drink that water, get up and move, stand up once an hour, whatever you need to do to start that health and getting it right, let's do that. Because if you don't take time for your wellness, here's the thing, you're going to be forced to take time for your illness. I don't want that for you. Now, the E, emotions. When we think about emotions and our own mental health, one of the things that I think is so hard sometimes is how we talk about it and how we handle it. Now, in recent years, we've gotten very comfortable talking about our mental health, which I love and I'm so grateful for. But here's the thing. I know when we have things that happen in life, we have breakdowns. Depending upon what it is, there's grief. A lot of us may not want to go to therapy, but some of us find out that therapy is good for us. We also find out that meditation is quite powerful. The other piece of this is what we think. You know, there have been many times where I have been told, let's make sure that the thoughts that we have are positive. And I'm not saying that's always easy. Remember, this talk is about choosing happiness even when it's hard. Sometimes it's hard to have positive thoughts, especially when life is lifing. One of the great things that I always say to myself is hope is grief's best music. I've had a lot of traumatic things that have happened in the last few years that have been really tough. But in all of those instances, I have had to make a choice. Yes, I said it. I've had to make a choice in choosing happiness. It was not easy. It was not easy. And so one of the things that when we talk about our emotions and our mental space and where we are, I want you to make sure that you're taking the time to own your emotions. How you feel is not right or wrong. It just is. But what you do with it, that is what matters. You got to manage those emotions. A, authenticity. I want you to choose to live in your authenticity, in your transparency. I know we hear that word a lot, but here's the thing. I want you to understand that who you are sometimes is enough. But let me be clear. It does not mean you can't grow or learn. But what I do want to say is you are uniquely you. Your voice is important. I want you to make sure when we're thinking about how we choose our happiness and how we show up, even when it's hard, is be yourself. You know, I have my own mantra, and it's be you, do you, love you, for you, unapologetically. There are many times I have said I am unapologetically Paula. It does not make me perfect, but I am who I am, and I am continuing to grow and to learn. You can do the same. Again, even when it's hard, I want you to choose to be authentic. Choose to show up as yourself. As I always say, it does the body good when we're not pretending to be somebody else. So let's make sure you are choosing your happiness by being authentic. Now, the last one, relationships, the R. Relationships are critical, and we know that. But I want to break down a couple of them. Let's start with family. Are you connected? How are those relationships being managed? Are you connecting with those in your family? Are you having the right conversations? And if you aren't, let's try to. Again, choosing happiness even when it's hard, those hard conversations, even with family, but you got to have them. And then you got to make some decisions about what makes the most sense. Friends, it is really important to have a healthy village. And I'm not talking about you have to have, tons and tons of people around you, but all of us should have at least a couple people that we can really talk to. That's a healthy village. And the third relationship is finances. You didn't see that coming, did you? So what is your legacy when it comes to finances? Because here's the thing, I know that finances impacts our relationships. It really does, whether it's family or friends. So your relationship with money is just as important. And I want you to choose happiness even when it's hard. Here's the thing, when we don't manage our money, it impacts us. And a lot of times it impacts us negatively. I've had a lot of conversations, I've done a lot of workshops with men and women when it comes to money. And there's a lot of shame that comes with that. I don't want you to have shame, but instead what I want you to do is own where you are and try to figure out how you can do something better, because you can. So do you need to let someone or something go in those relationships? Remember, I talked about family, friends, and finances. So now I've talked about here, right? HEAR. I want you to stop for a moment and think about, what are you grateful for each day? Is it your life, your spouse, your partner, your children, your house, your food, your friends? What are you grateful for? But here's what I want you to do as the takeaway, you all. Number one, for your health. What is that one thing you will choose to do in the next month that will bring you happiness in this category? I want you to think about that. Number two, emotions. What is the one thing you will do in this area starting today? Number three, authenticity. Decide today to bring your authentic self to all that you do. You and those around you will be better for it. And number four, relationships. Identify if there are people in your life who need to be released or change the relationship to ensure you are brought happiness. I want you to choose happiness in all that you do. Be intentional, because sometimes, yes, I get it. But at the end of the day, I want you to choose happiness even when it's hard. My name is Paula R. Jenkins of LFS Consulting, LLC. Again, you can find me on most platforms as LFS Consulting. There is obviously a link and a QR code on the screen. Reach out to me, follow me. If you would like a copy of the presentation as a PDF, feel free, click on this link that you have in the QR code, and I will send it to you. You all choose happiness, even when it's hard, because your life is worth it. And at the end of the day, that's all that matters. Let's get it done.
Meet PitchDB, the ultimate platform for speakers looking to make their mark on podcasts, conferences, and media outlets. PitchDB provides access to over 3 million platforms, ensuring you find the perfect avenue for your message. With AI integrations, your bios and pitches are tailored uniquely to each opportunity, giving you the edge you need. Join now at pitchdb.com.
It's 3 a.m. The world around you is silent, but your mind is anything but. It races, fueled by a barrage of fears and what ifs that refuse to let you rest. You've had a few of those nights, haven't you? This was where my own path from fear to fearlessness began. Not on a stage bathed in light, but in the darkness of my room, wrestling with shadows. By the age of 15, I'd faced what seemed like an insurmountable mountain of challenges. The scars of sexual abuse, the sting of betrayal by those I trusted most, and the relentless assault of doubts that sought to erode my sense of self and my self-confidence. Fear had become a constant, uninvited guest in my life, shaping my decisions and my relationships and my whole view of the world. My name is Belkis Clark Mitchum. I have been speaking and teaching from the stage internationally for more than 15 years. I have a master's in human communication and I am a certified master's life coach. But what does that have to do with fear? And that's enough about me. I remember one night a question cut through the chaos of my thoughts with the sharpness of a knife. It really literally felt that way. It was, what if the only thing holding me back was my own fear? In that moment, a profound realization dawned on me. The chains that I thought were forged by my past experiences were actually of my own making, tightened by my reluctance to face and accept my fears, and by the fear of being hurt over and over again. Now, here's the revelation that changed everything for me. Chains, no matter how strong they seem, can be broken. That realization didn't come with fanfare or dramatic upheaval. It came through a choice. The choice to no longer let fear confine me. The choice to face the darkness not as my nemesis, but as my teacher. The choice to step onto the path from fear to fearlessness. I think you're at a point where you need to start making some choices. Now, among all the fears that haunted me, two decisions marked the turning points in my life. The agonizing choice to leave an abusive marriage and the confrontation with my suicidal thoughts. These weren't mere crosswords. They were defining moments that demanded I choose life, light, and authenticity over fear and despair. Choosing to leave that abusive relationship was about reclaiming my life piece by piece. It was about my sanity, peace of mind, and taking it all back from the shadow of fear. It was about listening to the flicker of hope in the darkness, a hope that whispered of a life where I was no longer a prisoner of my past or my fears. Similarly, standing at the edge of despair, thinking about suicide, forced me to take a deep look within myself. It was there in the depths of my soul that I found a stubborn resilience, an unyielding determination to write a different story for myself. Today, here I am before you. These decisions made in the solitude of the night were my first faltering steps away from a life overshadowed by fear and towards one illuminated by courage and authenticity. They taught me a vital lesson. Our most profound transformations often begin in the quietest moments with the simplest yet most daunting of choices. This journey, marked by falls and rises, by lessons learned and unlearned, by wounds healed and strength found, is what brings me before you. I share my story not because it is unique, but because it is in many ways universal. Just as I faced my fears in the silence of 3 a.m., I know many of you have too. Fear, as we understand it, is more than just a survival mechanism. It's a complex emotion, capable of dictating our lives, influencing our decisions, and shaping our future. Chronic fear doesn't protect us, it confines us, holding us back from realizing our full potential. But what happens when these fears that were meant to protect us become the chains that bind us? When our innate fear response originally evolved to protect us from immediate physical dangers, when it becomes chronic or misplaced, these can morph into chains that binds us to a state of constant anxiety, stress, and limitation. And then you run into your doctor because you need some pills for anxiety disorder. This misalignment occurs not in the presence of actual life-threatening dangers, but in your day-to-day interactions, in your relationships, in your personal challenges, turning fear from being a life-saving mechanism into a life-limiting burden. However, understanding that the brain is capable of change through neuroplasticity offers hope. Neuroplasticity, that's what our brain does. When we engage in new and positive experiences and thought patterns, we can begin to forge new neural pathways, weakening the old ones dominated by fear. Practices such as mindfulness, cognitive behavioral strategies, and positive psychology can help to rewire our brains, enabling us to respond to fear in healthier ways, breaking the chains that once held us captive. In recognizing the transformative potential within us, and you've got it within you, we can start to see fear not as an insurmountable wall, but as a gate we can unlock and pass through on our journey to a more fulfilled and fearless life. Research spearheaded by visionaries like Dr. Richard Davidson sheds light on the transformative power of mindfulness and meditation. These practices don't just offer temporary solace. They can fundamentally alter your brain's wiring and even the shape of your brain. But understanding fear is only half of the battle. We must also learn to combat it with genuine confidence. You see, true confidence is forged in the fire of facing our fears, not avoiding them, not just saying I'm confident. It's built on setting achievable goals, embracing self-compassion, and recognizing each step forward as a victory. Dr. David Susan introduces us to the concept of emotional agility, a skill that allows us to navigate our thoughts and feelings with intention. It's about making choices that align with our values, even in the face of fear, and using our emotional responses as signposts for growth. Now, what's a practical application of this emotional agility? Let's start with a couple of steps. One is showing up. Begin by acknowledging your thoughts and emotions without judgment. What does that mean? This means that if you are feeling something, recognizing when you're feeling something strongly, like anger, sadness, or fear, and simply allowing yourself to feel it without being totally consumed by it. Another step for emotional agility is stepping out. Create some space between yourself and your emotions. Instead of identifying with them, like saying, I am angry, recognize that you are feeling them. You can say, I notice that I am feeling angry. This perspective helps you to understand that emotions are transient and they don't define you. The third step in emotional agility, in developing emotional agility, is walking your why. Then we need to clarify our core values, what truly matters to you, and let them guide your actions. When you are faced with decisions, whether they be big or small, ask yourself, does this align with my values? This ensures that your decisions help you move forward toward the life that you want to lead. So as we journey from fear to confidence, we learn that building real confidence involves engaging in behavioral experiments, visualizing success, developing a growth mindset, and practicing assertiveness. Ooh, assertiveness. It's not shouting and screaming at someone. Being assertive involves expressing your thoughts, feelings, and your needs directly and respectfully without infringing on the rights of others. Another excellent way to build genuine self-confidence and get rid of the mask is to practice self-compassion. Develop the habit of treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding you would offer a good friend. As we draw this conversation to a close, because I don't have enough time to go into depth, I leave with you a mantra. It says, I choose to live fully, not merely exist. I choose courage over comfort, authenticity over perfection, And let this guide you as you navigate the complexities of life, reminding you that the essence of confidence lies in being authentic, honest, true. I would like to invite you to keep learning and growing, and join me in your journey towards overcoming fear and being confident that does not fade. I've got a toolkit that I've prepared for you, filled with strategies, insights, and exercises designed to help you transform fear into genuine confidence, and it's free of charge. How do you get this? Just email me. In the subject line, put fearless, and the email is belkisclarke.com. belkis@belkisclarke.com. It's time to face life confidently. Thank you so much for joining me.
Hey everyone, it's your girl Dr. Renetta here, and you know that diving into my stories that stir the soul is my kind of thing. And there's this one story, The Wiz, that's really been on my mind. It's not just a retelling, it's a whole reimagining that really gets you to thinking about the power of transformation, not just for the characters in the story, but for us too. Ever catch yourself dreaming about what it would be like to shake off those doubts and fears and just transform? To tap into that inner magic to see where it could take you? Yeah, me too. After all, that's the essence of life, isn't it? So, picture this. It's Harlem in the 1970s, and Dorothy's there, comfortable yet craving more. It's like she's on the cusp of something big, and her Aunt M notices, and she keeps pushing Dorothy gently but firmly to find her own way. It's that loving nudge we all need sometimes, reminding us that the vastness of our potential is just beyond what we know. Then life throws Dorothy into an unexpected storm, sending her into the land of Oz. And Oz, well, that's where the magic happens. It's where Dorothy meets the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, and the Lion, each on their quest to find their hopes, dreams, and happiness. So I want to ask you, have you ever really thought about the characters from The Wiz? Listen, they're not just there to fill up a story, they're kind of like us in so many ways. For instance, the Scarecrow. This poor guy is just hanging there getting picked on by crows all day long. Sounds a bit like those nagging doubts and the negative stuff that people throw our way, doesn't it? He thinks he needs a brain, but really, what he discovers is way cooler. He's had smarts and insight all along. And it's a lot like us figuring out that we don't need others to validate us or tell us we're smart and worthy. We've got everything we need right up here. Then there's the Tin Man. Oh man, the Tin Man. Rusty and feeling a bit heartless after being hurt too many times. Who hasn't been there, right? His journey is all about letting himself feel again, understanding that it's okay to be vulnerable. And it's a beautiful reminder that feeling all those highs and lows is what being alive is all about. And letting others in is what builds real connections. And don't let me get started on that lion strutting around trying to be the king of the jungle, but inside, he's just a big old softy scared of his own shadow. His big lesson: bravery is not about being scared, it's about facing those fears head on. It shows us that admitting we're scared or unsure doesn't make us weak. It's actually the first big step towards finding your true strength. Each of them, in their own quirky way, teaches us something pretty important about being human. That it's okay to have doubts, to feel pain, and to be scared. What really matters is how we face those challenges, how we learn to trust in our own worth, open our hearts, and muster the courage to be our authentic selves. It's kind of comforting, don't you think? Knowing that even with all your fears and flaws, we're capable of so much. Just like the scarecrow, the tin man, and the lion, we all have our journeys, our battles, and our victories. And in the end, we realize that everything we're searching for outside was right with us all along. Their journey together is a beautiful reminder that what we often seek out there is already bubbling up inside of us, waiting to be acknowledged. It's about looking inward for growth, bravery, and love. And here's something that might surprise you. According to the American Psychological Association, having a strong social connection can actually cut your risk of serious depression and anxiety in half. That's huge, right? It just goes to show the power of community and support on our journey to well being. That's where I come in. My role as the founder of Girl, It's a New Day is all about helping women who've been through the ringer with diets and surgeries, thinking that was the change they needed. But what I offer isn't another pill, potion, or lotion or yellow brick road. It's something real, a curated roadmap tailored to guide each individual woman through her own unique journey of self discovery and transformation. Now, I want to share with you something that my mentor, Trevor Otts, once told me that really sticks with me. And he said, Renetta, you can't go into change unchanged and expect to change. That hits the nail on the head, doesn't it? It's all about embracing the process, the journey of becoming, allowing ourselves to evolve and grow through our experiences. If this is hitting close to home, if you're feeling that pull towards reinvention but aren't sure where to start, I've got you with a free quiz. Text the keyword reinvent to 240-266-0699, and together we'll navigate this journey of uncovering the strengths you've always had and maybe some you never knew about. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Just remember, every challenge or storm we face is not just a hurdle, it's an invitation to grow, to reimagine our lives, and to step into our true power. So, what do you say? Ready to explore what reinvention could look like for you? After all, girl, it's a new day. Yes, it's a new day. Let's embrace it with open hearts and the courage to be who we truly are, supported by a community that lifts us higher. Catch you the next time, and never forget, there is magic inside of you. Yes, you. And together, we're going to let it shine bright. Until the next time, take good care.
Good day. My name is Coach Paula Hollis. I am a life transitions coach and an energy leadership master practitioner. I am here today to speak with you about energizing your life, harnessing the power of energy for emotional wellness and self-care. So let's dig into this on today. Let's first start with an understanding of a working definition so that we can make sure we are on common terms. Now, by emotional well-being, I am referring to the capacity and the willingness to feel all of our feelings. Yes, I am a strong proponent of you feeling your feelings. That means that you are aware of them. That means that you acknowledge them and that you experience them for what they are. You do not avoid them, but you process them so that you can grow through those feelings. Your feelings are not right or wrong. They are simply what they are, and they should be acknowledged and they should be processed. And so that is how you are able to have emotional well-being through awareness, acknowledgement, and experience. Self-care. What is self-care? This is where you're intentionally choosing to nurture yourself spiritually, emotionally, mentally, and physically, but not after, but before your breaking point. You don't want to get to the point where you're broken and you're breaking and you're stressed out beyond some level of repair, or you need something intensive to repair it. You want to have that awareness. You want to acknowledge that you need some self-care, and then you want to experience and engage in that self-care activity. It's not a selfish activity. It's actually a loving and caring activity, one toward yourself and also toward others. It's intentional. That's the key word here. And that you do it before your breaking point. Our next definition is related to energy. Energy is your level of consciousness, that self-awareness that is comprised of your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. You know how they say, what's the T? That's the T right there. Your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. Your energy levels therefore then determine what you're going to attract, and then also what is reflected back to you, what you resonate and what you receive. And so this becomes a powerful tool. The energy that you exhibit, that also becomes leadership. Because guess what? We are all leaders. You are leading, if no one else, you're leading yourself. But then you're also leading others, because trust, someone is watching you. Someone is paying attention to how you navigate, and you are in turn influencing others with your behaviors. So energy is extremely important. And so energy leadership as a leader for yourself and an influencer to others, this is your ability to motivate yourself and others into positive and sustainable action. It's not enough to have a positive action once or twice. It's about consistency. Consistency compounds. And we want to have something that is sustainable. How do we eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Don't look at the insurmountable aspect of this huge elephant, but take incremental progress along the way, forming habits that create consistency and then therefore compounding into a great fruitfulness. This is how we will energize our life. And so I want to talk about energy. I'm an energy master practitioner, and I think it's important for you to understand the components of energy. There are two types of energy, catabolic and anabolic. And in understanding them, the catabolic is the more destructive type of energy. It's harmful. It can be very draining, and it creates feelings of fear, anger, and resentment. You're not going to go far with that, right? We can't have fear. We shouldn't have anger, and we don't want to be resenting. And so catabolic energy creates that type of environment. Conversely, anabolic energy is constructive. It's healing. It fuels us It creates that motivation that we need, providing inner strength and resilience. And so it's important to understand these two types of energy, catabolic and anabolic. Now, within these two types of energy, there are overall 7 levels of energy on the overall energetic spectrum. 2 of those levels are catabolic, and 5 of them are anabolic. So, fortunately, there are more anabolic ones than there are catabolic. So, let's look into the details of these various levels. Within the catabolic realm, level 1 is the victim. The victim says, I'm powerless, I am going to fail. Level 2 says, I'm the fighter. Life is hard. And so within these two constructs, we have the fear, the anger, and the resentment, those types of environments or those elements that are present in this type of environment. You're either the victim or you're fighting and you're viewing life as hard. Your perspective looks at the difficulties and not necessarily the goodness or opportunities that may come. Because remember, it's catabolic, it's destructive in nature. Conversely, there are 5 anabolic levels. There is the rationalizer at level 3 who says, you know what? I think I can overcome these challenges. So we're shifting from more of a catabolic perspective into this first level of anabolic that kind of sees that there's another opportunity, that there is another aspect here. Then level 4 says, you know, as the helper, I can work this out. I can do this. I feel empowered. I can work through this because I can help myself to do this. And then level 5 is the collaborator, where it begins to see that these opportunities are endless. Yes, there's difficulties. Yes, there's challenges, but I can reframe my perspective and see that these opportunities that I have are endless. Then level 6 at the anabolic level says the connector, looking at life as a learning opportunity. Yes, like I said, there's obstacles, there's difficulties, there's challenges, but even in all of those, there are lessons to be learned. And so the connector says, I'm going to learn from this. I'm not just going to go through it, I'm going to grow through it. And then lastly, level 7 is the visionary. And they simply say, I'm fearless. I've accomplished, I can do this. And I am going to be about my health, my wellness, and my emotional well-being. And so how do we then harness this power? Well, powering through this energy, we have to understand our potential. We have to be self-aware. We have to have optimism, right? We can't just always look at the glass as half empty. We have to be able to reframe our perspective, even amid difficult circumstances, and be able to see, yeah, it is half full. And I can see the goodness. I can see the opportunity. Even in this, I'm optimistic. I'm not denying, yet again, I said we don't dismiss our feelings. I still acknowledge it, but I choose to reframe and make sure I see it from a positive light. I have the willpower, I have the endurance and the resilience to be able to do this. And so this is the key of what I share within my practice. As a life transitions coach, I share practical steps with my clients on how they can navigate life transitions, be it grief, career, parenting, your own personal development journey, whatever it is, we're all in some type of transition. And so I share ways that we can navigate this transition. So I invite you to join the journey with me. The QR code is present on the screen for you to join my VIP mailing list, where I share ongoing tips, but also on my social platforms of ways that you can power this energy, ways that you can work through the catabolic and these anabolic levels of energy so that you can find yourself and be able to get and shift from where you are to where you would like to be. So I hope in this short period of time, I have shifted your energy and awakened your potential. I truly hope that you will join my mailing list and we can continue the journey together. Have a great day.
name is Dr. Shauna Mapsey, and I work for a large human service organization in New York City. And today we will be discussing emotional wellness and self-care amongst African Americans. Let's define emotional wellness. Emotional wellness is the ability to adapt to difficulties or stress and to recover. Resilience is the ability to recover quickly from stress. And self-care or self-care practices are the things that we do to help recover from difficult times or stressful events. Self-care practices or self-care are the actions that we take to preserve our health. So now let's discuss why these areas are so important. These areas are so important because there's a large complexity between race, emotional wellness, and self-care. And many of you may wonder why. Well, let's get into it. Due to the inequities in the healthcare system, mass incarceration, healthcare, insurance, and amongst many of things that plague African Americans are reasons why we need to employ self-care practices and improve our emotional wellness. In this slide, you can see that mom is totally stressed and fed up with the child. The child is crying, and mom is probably saying things like, "Don't you cry," or "I'll give you something to cry for." I know as a child, my mom often said these type of phrases. And it really doesn't help us to express our emotions or our feelings. It really stifles us. And we have to be able to kind of persevere and build that resilience through those type of stressors. We have to be able to experience the stress so we can develop the coping skills that we need to kind of persevere through. As children, we're not taught how to increase our emotional wellness, how to develop self-care practices, or how to just build resilience. With that being said, it's okay to secure your emotional well-being through self-care practices. Self-care practices are very important for African Americans. It improves our overall wellness and our overall health outcomes. This slide, it reads, self-care helps people preserve their wellness and prevent disease. For example, those who exercise between 2 and 8 hours a week throughout their lives reduce risk of death by 35%. When dealing with stress at times, some of us retreat or become reclusive and we don't want to deal with others. But this is the time that we need to be close to our friends and loved ones. Believe it or not, having conversations with a family or friend can lessen a stressful event. Speaking with family, you'll focus on having that whole connectedness with family, and you start to think about all the things that they can help you persevere through whatever the stressful event is. Having that connectedness and forming that resilience as a unit is called family resilience. Family resilience theory is a theory that focuses on families persevering through stress together. Family resilience, knowing that you can rely on family or friends, forces the idea that I can do this and I'm not alone. Another way to improve emotional wellness and self-care is through cognitive reappraisal. Hold on, I hope I don't lose you here. Cognitive reappraisal is a way of looking at an event in an objective way. An example of cognitive reappraisal is, let's say you lose money and you get home and you're like, oh man, I lost this money. And then you say, well, I hope whoever found it needed it more than me. Or the person who found it probably needed it more than me. An example of cognitive reappraisal is evidenced in this slide. As you can see in this slide, the young lady arrives at the shop and it's closed. But as you can also see, she's thinking, well, at least I got out in this beautiful weather. Now we got to the good part. Let's discuss self-care. Self-care, by definition, is anything that we do to increase our emotional wellness. May it be that we're experiencing any kind of stress, sadness, or loss. Self-care is very important to assist us with navigating through those issues. Self-care could be anything from reading a book, taking a walk in the park, booking a spa, taking a nap, or even watching that movie that you like. I want you to take a moment to think about what you would do for self-care. Self-care is very important for us as African Americans. We need to ensure that that is one of the things that we do on a daily basis to ensure that we keep ourselves together. Self-care doesn't have to just be one thing. It's multiple things that you can do, but you know that once you do it, you feel better at the end. You will be surprised at what you would do for self-care. Be very intentional. Book the spa, take a nap, read the book, go to the movies, watch the movies at home, or even watch a series movies where there's chapter after chapter after chapter. Read a book, take care of your loved ones, and most of all, stay connected to family and friends. I would like to thank you for your time. Again, my name is Dr. Shauna Mapsey, and you can follow me on Instagram at The Resilience Map, altogether, The Resilience Map. Thank you for your time again, and have a good day.